Welcome to Inside Roanoke. I'm Melinda Mayo, the Communications and Media Officer for the City of Roanoke. We're here on the Greenway today because we're going to hear about Greenway courtesy rules, and we're also going to learn about leaf collection and a lot more, so stay with us. I'm talking to Kristen Perdue. Kristen is new with Roanoke Fire EMS. Yeah. Kristen, start by telling us a little bit about yourself, like where you come from, what you've been doing.
Sure. So I'm Kristen, Community Risk Reduction Specialist for Roanoke Fire EMS. My background, I actually started off as an intern here at the fire department many years ago. Yeah. And I did part-time until I had to go to college. I still worked part-time, but I went to Longwood University where I graduated with a bachelor's degree in public relations, and then moved on to a position at Virginia Tech's Office of Emergency Management where I also did public relations, and then did 2 years at the Red Cross doing disaster program specialist.
So you got some really good background for this job that you're in. And remind folks what you do then in this job. Do you go out in the community and talk about fire prevention?
So part of my job, I talk to the community about fire prevention and how they can be safe, whether it's during weather scenarios or fire scenarios, how they can protect their homes from future possible fires. But also I do a lot within administration as well, writing grants for our special teams and different things like that.
Okay. Well, it's that time of year when the holidays are approaching, and I was hoping you could share some fire prevention kind of tips today and start talking, maybe, you know, first of all, like people are in the kitchen baking and cooking for the holidays. What are kind of things that they need to remember?
Right, now is the best time to be talking about this too, because we see an increase of calls during the holidays and around the winter months. So cooking is the #1 cause of fires. We always want to let people know about that, especially when you're cooking around the holidays. People like to maybe leave and go chat with family or friends that they have over. We want them to make sure that they're still paying attention to what's going on their stove, because it's so important. But also, especially with the turkey that you're doing for Thanksgiving, make sure you are roasting it properly, and you can look up instructions online on how to do that. They have some tutorials, so I suggest looking at that as well. But you just want to be cautious and safe.
And don't leave things unattended, right?
Right, absolutely. I know you have friends and family in town, but they can talk to you in the kitchen as much as they can talk to you in another room. So stay around that kitchen while you're cooking. Be aware, and also be aware of children too. You know, there's probably a lot of children running around the house. You don't want them to grab something off the stove and burn themselves as well.
Well, the other thing people like to do this time of year is decorate with candles.
Oh yeah, so I love decorations.
What should we know about using candles in the home?
Right, especially with candles, you don't want to put them near something that's flammable. So kind of take them away from the other decorations that may be on the table and seclude it a little bit. I know I always like to put candles with things because I think they're so beautiful. Sometimes they have a great smell, but once we put it closer to something that's flammable, it could catch on fire. Also, you want to make sure that you're not leaving the house with the flame still going like a candle. So making sure that all the candles are out before you go to bed or before you leave the house as well. And
now folks are going to start thinking about putting up Christmas trees. Anything we need to be aware of on that?
Well, with Christmas trees, just be cautious. You know, turn the lights off. Turn the lights off when you leave the home. Same thing with that. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to how dry your tree is if you have a real tree. But if you have a synthetic fake tree, just look for the instructions. Make sure that you're not doing anything inappropriate with it.
Okay. And then the lights on the inside and outside of the house, you have to use the lights that are safe. Talk about that a little.
Right. We want to use lights that are meant to be on trees and different things like that. Again, you want to, I know we put lights around the trees, but other things to look out for is just making sure that you kind of have things maybe away from those lights. They aren't as bad as what you could put on like a light bulb lamp. They have a little less power on it, so making sure that you just are safe with those as well, and it doesn't get wrapped up around anyone either, because when you have small children, you know, they could play with it and then that glass could break. It's true. So you don't want them biting on it or anywhere that they can have it in reach.
And since it's getting cooler outside now, people are starting to use their fireplaces. What should we watch out for on that?
So fireplaces are a big deal. Recently, we actually had 2 carbon monoxide calls due to some backed up fireplaces. One of them was due to a backed up fireplace. So make sure that your chimney is clear. We want to make sure that you get it cleaned out by a professional. You also, if you have gas fireplace, make sure that you have a CO alarm. Fireplaces can get backed up really easily, and unfortunately during the winter months, we do see an increase in volume of calls for that as well.
And then space heaters also, people like to put their little portable space heaters out. Anything we need to know about that?
For space heaters, we have a 3 feet rule. So we say we want to make sure that everything is 3 feet away from the space heater. Especially if there's flammable items nearby like clothes or blankets, keep it away from the space heater for safety. But also when you're using a space heater, make sure you plug it into a wall instead of things like an extension cord or a power strip. It needs to go directly in a wall and 3 feet away from anything else that may be flammable.
Good to know.
And turn it off when you leave your house or go to bed, because that happens a lot too. Unfortunately, people don't turn it off and it gets hotter and hotter and causes a fire.
So related to all these things are smoke alarms. How important is it to have a working smoke alarm in our homes?
It is so important. It could be the difference between life and death. We want to make sure that you have working smoke alarms, because it could be 2 minutes that you have to escape from a home. But working smoke alarms give you more time to escape a home due to fire. So if you have an incident where you do happen to leave a pot on the stove or something on the stove cooking, the smoke alarm will warn you and give you the ability to either put it out or leave before anything gets serious. So they're incredibly important. We even have a free program available, and so does the Red Cross. So we want you guys, we want all of the community to have those working smoke alarms in their home, and they have no excuse because it's free. So feel free to give us a call and we'll get you set up with a smoke alarm.
So what number would they call for that?
So that would be 540-853-5785.
Okay, and if somebody wanted to know more about safety, fire prevention safety for the holidays, do you have information available on the website, or how would you do that?
Absolutely. We have information available on our website, roanokeva.gov. And then you can go to the Fire EMS section and find us. You can also go to nfpa.org. They have good resources. And if you have kids in the home, sparky.org is another great resource to go to.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you sharing all that, and welcome to the city of Roanoke.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
My guest is Mike Cosby. Mike is the fleet manager for Roanoke City. Mike, thank you for joining us today. We want to talk about an award you all recently received. The city received the 100 Top Fleets Award. But before we get into that, many people don't know what fleet management does, or who they are, what role they play in the city. Tell us what fleet management does.
We take care of approximately 650 vehicles overall, everything from our big fire trucks, garbage trucks, all the moving equipment that the city owns, from all the way down to the little parking vehicles that you see downtown. We also take care of a lot of different equipment like the snow plows and the salt spreaders for the winter. But it's a pretty wide variety of vehicles.
So if a vehicle doesn't work, they bring it here to the...
Yes, that's correct. We perform repairs and preventive maintenance and everything that needs to be done to keep the vehicles available to people that need to use them.
About how many vehicles does the city have? Do you know off the top of your head?
We have approximately 650 on-road vehicles.
So that's a lot of work to keep all those vehicles going.
It keeps us busy.
Yeah. So it's really neat that you all do so much work, and now you're getting recognized for it with the 100 Top Fleets organization. Talk about that award a little bit.
Well, the 100 Best Fleets Award is something that's been in existence for probably 20, 25 years. It's sponsored by a group in San Francisco that's interested in promoting good fleet management, and basically people from not only within the U.S. but in Canada, Central America participate in it, and there are about 13 different criteria that you submit applications and to tell how your organization is doing. It ranges from operational things, how quickly you get vehicles turned around, to environmental applications. We try to. We're very concerned about the energy that we use. So we have some electric vehicles, some vehicles that run on propane, things like that. The training and development is covered. It's a long list of different things that we get evaluated on, and the entire purpose is to make sure that we're doing the things that good fleets do.
Right.
And it's very competitive. Huge organizations down to very small ones participate, and we've been fortunate enough to receive that honor for the last 6 years.
What do you think it means to have that award? I mean, what does it speak to as far as the quality of service that you're providing?
Well, I think the biggest thing that it does is it makes sure that we are following best practices, you know, and doing all the things that good fleets do.
Right.
And that, you know, it keeps us, it's competitive. It lets us benchmark what we're doing against the best fleets in the country.
And you're looking always at new ways to do things, things that are more productive or more efficient.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And innovation is a big. You get a lot of credit for that when you
Right.
apply for these awards, and you know, from everything from operational efficiencies to using the replacement funds that we have the best way possible, to introducing electric vehicles and propane vehicles
Right.
into the fleet.
And also, I think there's some encouragement of people who work here to offer their ideas, right, on how things can
Yes,
be done better.
that's correct. You know, having an inclusive workplace is a big part of that. You know, you can't innovate without that.
Right. So if somebody has an idea, maybe they might just throw that out there, and you all look into it and see if that's something's workable. And
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. It's you know, we try to have everyone working together and recognize. One thing that we do here in our shop that's we have an incentive-based program. As people earn automotive and truck certifications, they receive financial incentives to do that.
Cool.
And that things like that give us a lot of credit in these competitive programs like the 100 Best Fleets.
Well, we're very proud of our fleet, and this is such a great award. We just wanted to make sure our viewers knew about it as well. If somebody had a question about the award, can they call you?
Sure, absolutely. My phone number is 853-2108.
Well, congratulations, good work, and thank you for sharing all of it with us today.
All right, I appreciate it very much.
Thanks. I'm talking to Douglas Jackson, and Doug is our new Arts and Culture Coordinator.
That's
Just
right.
started just recently, right?
I did. It started in July.
Okay. Talk a little bit about yourself and your background. Just kind of tell us where you're from, what you've done.
Well, I'm originally from Delaware, but I've been in Roanoke for 15 years.
Okay.
And I moved here to do a Master's in Fine Arts at Highlands University. And when I graduated, the very first thing I did was apply to be on the Roanoke Arts Commission. And it was a terrific way to feel a part of the community and get to know what's happening in arts and culture here. So I stayed on the Arts Commission for 11 years. It was 3 terms, plus I finished out somebody's term. And it was a great pleasure and a terrific learning experience. And so when the position opened up, I applied for it, and it's kind of a dream.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the city of Roanoke.
Well, thank you.
And so one of the things we want to talk about today, we're having an Arts and Humanities Month. Talk about that. Why do we celebrate
That's
that?
right. October is always National Arts and Humanities Month, and we celebrate all that arts and culture do for us as humans, as a city. So, you know, we've got an arts and cultural plan in Roanoke, and we're very thoughtful about how we use arts and culture to boost our regional economy, to engage residents in their neighborhoods, and to create a culture of lifelong learning. So Arts and Humanities Month celebrates all of those. The economic impact, plus our human impact, how we better understand ourselves and our place in the world through arts and culture.
Yeah. Why do you think it's important for the city to support arts and culture?
Well,
what's the value of that?
Yeah, well, our city is us. You know, it's our government represents us. It is us. There are ways that we are involved, and this is how we say who we are and how we support each other. So, if you think about it, it's kind of an ecosystem. So the city can only do a certain amount, and we've got wonderful arts and cultural organizations that are very active and very thoughtful about how they provide services, and we're right here in the spot that's the
on the art walk.
a home for it on the art walk, and here at Elmwood Park. And you really get to the heart of the community when you come down here on a weekend and there's a festival being put on by a local nonprofit group. We're all working on it together.
Yeah. And that's guided by that plan, right? The Arts and Cultural Plan.
Yeah, we did the Arts and Cultural Plan in 2011. And the way we did that, we kind of had everybody come into many rooms over many meetings and say, here's what we want to see happen, and here's what we're willing to do.
Right.
So it's part of the comprehensive plan for the city of Roanoke, but the city doesn't just do it by itself.
Right.
Everybody takes a little piece of it, and we work together.
Okay. And so now, one of the other things that the city does is we provide some funding for outside organizations, right?
That's right.
So talk a little bit about that process and how people can apply for arts and cultural funding.
It's a great time to talk about it. We're getting ready to start the next cycle for the funding for the fiscal year 2021.
Right.
And on December 6th, we have a mandatory workshop. Organizations have to be there has to be a nonprofit organization, and they have to be doing arts and cultural work, and they have to have been around for 3 years. So we have a mandatory workshop, and organizations come to it, and we talk about how to apply for it. But they apply for programmatic dollars, so only for programs.
Right.
So how are we going to provide opportunities for the citizens of Roanoke in arts and culture? They often connect with schools, they connect with things like festivals, they expand opportunities, and last year $340,000 worth of grants were given to about 20 organizations, and they're doing terrific work.
That's great. Well, and the other thing I wanted to say is we want you to help us keep up to date on public art and what's happening. Anything you want to talk about that's next on the list for public art, or?
Yeah, we've got a few things happening. Of course, we're here on the art walk, and this is a temporary exhibit, and it'll be here for 2 years.
Okay.
So everybody should come down to the art walk. We have a piece that we've just put a call out for the new 811 911 center that will be open in the spring. So we've put that call out. We have a piece that was commissioned last year, and an artist out of Boston came and worked on a piece for the Melrose Library.
Okay.
Now the Melrose Library is beautiful, and it's been dedicated.
Yeah.
And we are soon. Our next step will be to put 3 pieces out. It's a series of pieces right out in the plaza in front.
Oh,
and so be watching for that. And we'll put word out when we have a dedication for that.
Anything else we need to know about public art today?
Let's see. Public art we've got 160 pieces in the collection, and those are both inside buildings and outside. And I really encourage people when they come into the municipal building to take a look on the walls, and there really are some terrific pieces there, and I think we're really fortunate to have this.
Well, we're fortunate to have you on board,
you.
and again, welcome to the city.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I'm talking to David Twig, and David is with Solid Waste Management. And it's that time of year again, David, when we start doing the leaf collection. When are we going to do leaf collection this year? Talk about it.
Leaf collection starts November the 18th. We will not collect leaves on Thanksgiving week, but we'll resume for 3 additional weeks after the holiday. Now, it's important to remember the schedule during Thanksgiving week because it'll be a short week. So Monday and Tuesday routes will be collected on Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday routes will be collected on Tuesday, and Thursday routes on Wednesday.
Okay, so we have a little different schedule that week, and we're not collecting leaves that week, right?
We are not collecting leaves that week.
So people who want to set out bags of leaves, is there a limit to how many they can put out?
There is no limit. We will collect an unlimited number of 30-gallon biodegradable paper bags, and they can be purchased at home improvement or hardware stores.
Okay, so we're not picking up plastic bags. Is that right?
That is correct.
So just a warning to people, don't set out your leaves in the plastic bags so they won't get picked up.
That is correct.
And where do we place those leaves? Where should we put the bags?
Leaves will be collected the same day as bulk and brush and should be placed to the curb by 7 a.m.
Okay, I was going to ask about bulk and brush. That doesn't interfere with that collection. It's in addition to that collection, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Bulk and brush will be remain the same during the weeks of leaf collection.
Okay. Now, what happens if someone who doesn't know rakes their leaves to the curb? Because we don't pick those up anymore, do we?
No, we do not. And unfortunately, they may receive a notice of violation. We discourage citizens to place loose leaves at the curb due to the fact that they may clog storm drains or cause hazards for pedestrians or traffic.
So if they want to just rake their leaves to the curb, they need to get a contractor to come and get them, right?
That is correct.
So if you cite them for putting the leaves at the curb, then they're supposed to notify you they have someone coming. How does that work?
Well, they could just call our office at 853-2000, option 1, talk to our customer service representatives, and let them know that they've scheduled a contractor to vacuum those up.
At their address? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is there a leaf collection schedule that's going to be posted? Talk about that.
Yeah, you can visit our webpage at www.roanokeva.gov, solid waste, or they can contact our office and call 853-2000, option 1.
Option 1. And one more question. I was going to say, are there different things that people can do besides put their leaves in the bag? I mean, was there other ways to get rid of leaves? Any ideas?
Well, a lot of people like to put them in their garden or compost piles. The most popular way seems to be mowing, which promotes structure and water retention in the soil, as well as nutrients.
So that mulch mowing, just get that special blade on your lawnmower and just go over them and just put them in the grass.
Just put them in the grass.
That. Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing it with us. It's information everybody needs to know, because that leaves are going to start falling and we need to know when are they going to get picked up. So thanks again for doing that.
Soon. Thank you,
It's coming
Melinda.
soon. Okay. Bye. My guest is Stephanie Long. Stephanie's with Roanoke Parks and Recreation, and we're here on one of the greenways. We want to talk about greenway courtesy rules. So, what are greenway courtesy rules?
Well, we've got about 10 that we try to focus on the most. And so just to kind of get started, the first one is always stay to the right. Stay to the right, pass on the left, whether you're cycling, running, walking your dog, any type of recreational activity, stay on the right. Also, if you're walking with a friend, try and only walk 2 abreast. Sometimes we have big groups of people, which is great. We want as many people out on our greenways as possible, but we have to be courteous of one another. So make sure if people are coming that we get over to the side, only 2 people abreast.
Right.
Another thing that we sometimes encounter are people with dogs who aren't leashed, or people who have dogs on a retractable leash. So once again, just make sure, number one, you have your dog on a leash that is, the law. But also, if you have one of those retractable leashes, just be mindful of the people around you. If you've got like a cyclist or a runner or someone coming up behind you and you have your dog kind of across the greenway, that can cause a lot of safety issues. So we just, again, make sure, keep your dog, everything on the right side so that we don't have issues like that. Another thing is cyclists. We just need to make sure that cyclists are going at a safe speed, not going too quick. We have, people who want to train for cycling races and things like that, and that's fantastic. But the greenway is not the spot for that. So this is meant to be more leisurely cycling. So make sure that we travel at a safe speed. Also that the pedestrian always has the right of way. So we need to be mindful of that, as well as please always wear a helmet just to be safe. Let's see. We also want to make sure that we have a lot of young people who use our greenways, and children and things like that. So it's kind of up to us as adults and parents to make sure we educate our children about the right way to use the greenway. And they're going to make mistakes, obviously, but we need to make sure that we kind of teach them so that we're all, creating a safe and hospitable environment for each other. Also, this is kind of big because, as you know, we have the Lime scooters that just came to Roanoke. So just a friendly reminder that no motorized vehicles are allowed on the Greenway, and that is city code. So as tempting as it may be to take those, as well as e-bikes, you know, those are not allowed on the Greenways. So just be mindful of that. If you are planning to park somewhere close to the Greenway and leave your car and go and jog or bike or something like that, just make sure you hide your valuables, secure them. You know, it's rare, but things do get taken from vehicles, so we just want to make sure that people either, you know, keep that on your person, or you know, secure them in your cars and don't leave them out in plain sight. And then I think, headphones. I am very guilty of this. When I'm exercising, I want to listen to music, which is great. We don't mind that people do that. We just need to make sure that you don't have it so loud that you can't hear other people. So we're asking cyclists to, you know, ring a bell or say on your left as they're passing pedestrians. You need to have the same courtesy and be able to hear them so that you know that they're coming up on you, so that you don't create an accident for yourself as well as the other users. So I think that pretty much covers our main Greenway safety etiquette topics.
Well, now let me ask you this question. How do the people who are walking on the Greenway, how do they know these rules? Have we communicated them to the public? Or?
Yeah, so at several access points on our greenways, we do actually have these rules posted. And then also you can go to our website, playroanoke.com. There's a tab at the top that says Greenway, Greenways and Trails. You click on that and it has actually the Greenway safety rules right there. So you can see all of this stuff online as well.
Now, if I'm walking or running or biking, whatever, on the Greenway, and there's a problem, do I report that? How do I take care of that?
Well, I guess it depends on the problem. If this is a major safety concern, you might want to contact the police. If you see someone who's riding a motorized vehicle, or someone who's parked on the Greenway, you know, things like that, you do want to call the police department for situations like that. If it's something where you notice a tree, and this happens frequently, a tree's come down and it's blocking the Greenway, or if you notice that there seems to be like a pothole or something like that, you'll want to contact Parks and Recreation to let us know. So you can either call us at 853-2236 and we can take a look at it. We also have a Facebook group called Friends of Roanoke Trails and Greenways, sorry. And you can ask to join that, and that's a really great resource where people actually take pictures and post them on there to let us know, you know, there's a tree down on Mill Mountain, and so that our crews can get to it and take care of it.
And if they see someone who's not going by the rules, you know, to say,
and that's always really tough. But we actually have what's called a Greenway ambassador, and anyone can join. Anyone can be one. It's free, and we have training so people can learn how to do like wilderness first aid training and stuff like that. But those ambassadors are actually meant to kind of educate the public about how to use our greenways and trails safely and how to be courteous to one another. So if you're interested in that, please contact us. We would love to have you. But if you're just kind of an everyday citizen, we would love for you to, you know, politely let people know, you know, make sure, you know, you stay on the right-hand side, or, you know, it really comes down to common courtesy. Our greenways are one of our most important features here in the city, and everyone's using them, and we love that, and it's great. But because everyone's using them, we need to make sure that we are aware of everyone else and make sure that everyone has a positive recreation experience.
If somebody had a question about etiquette rules or greenways, how would they get the information?
A couple things. You can, again, give us a call, 540-853-2236. You can message us on Facebook. We'll respond to you. And then you can also just go online at playroanoke.com and you can see all of those rules laid out for you. And also, again, if English is not your first language, we have a translating feature on our website, so you can go and see those in your native language if that's more helpful too.
Well, it's good information to have, and thank you for sharing it with us.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time on Inside Roanoke.